The plane crash that killed a rising star in the world of music and film. Reaction today after Aaliyah and 8 others were when their plane went down.
Once it came out on R. Kelly, Jay-Z fled the scene.
I mean, I wasn't there. I ain't have nothing to do with it.
Was Aaliyah's death really an accident? Or was it part of a much bigger, darker web involving Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and even R. Kelly?
And remember all the stories of how controlling he was on the tour? Do you remember some of those stories? When R. Kelly come through the hall, people had to turn away and all this crazy shit. Nobody could be in the hall when him and his people walked through.
New footage has surfaced, and it's sending shockwaves through the industry, raising questions that have remained buried for over 2 decades.
No, it don't bother me. I mean, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying?
But what's in this footage? Why is Jay-Z under scrutiny? And how does it connect to the tangled relationships Aaliyah had with some of music's most powerful men?
What is the deal with you and R. Kelly? Are you all married or not?
No, I'm not married. Robert's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. He's a great producer, great artist who I do admire, and there's nothing there at all.
Could her tragic end have been avoided? Or was someone trying to pave the way for a new star?
She was our age, and it's just scary because that could have been any one of us. And she was an angel, and I know that now she's with God.
Aaliyah Dana Houghton, a rising star in the R&B world, lost her life in a tragic plane crash on August 25, 2001, while leaving the Bahamas. But was her death truly a case of unfortunate circumstances, or is there more beneath the surface? In the hours following the crash, whispers began to surface. Whispers about overloaded cargo, rushed decisions, and unexplained pressure to leave that day. What's even more shocking is how her death ties back to a brewing storm between Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and R. Kelly. A storm that might have placed Aaliyah right in the middle of danger.
How does a 14-year-old girl get married and no adult in the family knew? Unless... I'm just saying.
Why did her relationships with these powerful men carry such tension? How does the new footage play into the narrative? And why is Jay-Z being dragged into the spotlight years later? You see, various details regarding the case have emerged in recent years that point to the foul play. Many fans now demand that the investigation should be reopened to give Aaliyah her due justice. The princess of urban pop was a music icon who made waves from an early age. Her career kicked off when she was just 10 years old, and by the time she released her debut hit Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, she was already on her way to stardom. Her smooth vocals, magnetic stage presence, and ability to blend R&B with urban beats made her a standout. But tragically, on August 25, 2001, the world lost Aaliyah far too soon, along with all the promise and talent she carried.
Only 22 years old, this pop sensation was a popular singer. She was an actress in some movies recently, even a Grammy nominee. Tonight, her family is in mourning, fans asking, why her? She was on a small plane heading to Florida from the Bahamas, where she was shooting a music video.
The news of her death sent shockwaves through the industry. Friends, collaborators, and fans alike were heartbroken, struggling to come to terms with the fact that someone so gifted was gone so suddenly.
Sweetest person you can know. Very intelligent. She knew what she was about, and she knew what she wanted to do.
Aaliyah was my best friend. She was a beautiful person on the inside and out. And I'm just shocked.
But as details of the accident came out, it became clear this wasn't just a straightforward tragedy. The circumstances were unusual, even suspicious. The plane went down shortly after takeoff in what should have been perfect flying conditions. Investigators later revealed that all 6 people on board lost their lives. But what raised eyebrows the most? The pilot was found to be under the influence, and reports suggested Aaliyah herself might have been drugged. As more layers of the story unfolded, suspicions grew. One name repeatedly came up in connection to Aaliyah's final moments: Hype Williams, the director of her last music video, Rock the Boat. Originally, the video was planned to use green screens and underwater shots in Miami, but Williams made a sudden decision to move the shoot to the Bahamas. Why such a drastic change in plans? Why not stick to Miami's beaches, which would have been just as scenic and far more convenient? Fans have been asking the same questions. Many believe this move wasn't just random, but part of something more calculated. Even those closest to Aaliyah have raised concerns. Her fiancé at the time, Damon Dash, spoke about her unease with the flight in an interview. He shared a chilling detail about her reluctance to board the plane that would ultimately crash. Dash wasn't the only one to call out the suspicious circumstances. Aaliyah's fans, always loyal and protective of her legacy, dug deeper into what happened. Another unsettling claim? Lenny Kravitz had reportedly offered Aaliyah a private jet for the trip, but somehow Hype Williams ended up using that jet for himself. Aaliyah was left aboard the smaller, less safe plane that ultimately crashed. One fan summed up the frustration and heartbreak, writing, "Listen to an interview with Dame Dash. He said Aaliyah didn't want to get on that plane. Lenny Kravitz offered her a private jet to take instead. Hype Williams took the jet instead of her and had her take that little plane that ended up crashing. SMH." Now, in addition to all this, there are three names which have been constantly mentioned in relation to Aaliyah's demise: Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and R. Kelly. For context, Aaliyah's journey to stardom began at just 15 years old when her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, became a success. However, this milestone in her career was also the beginning of a troubling chapter in her life, tied to her relationship with R. Kelly. The two developed a bond during the creation of the album, and their connection sparked rumors that would follow Aaliyah for years to come. In a 1994 interview with Vibe magazine, Aaliyah played down the nature of her relationship with Kelly, describing it as rather close. She recounted casual outings like going to the movies or sharing meals, but denied any romantic involvement. When asked about rumors that the two had secretly married, Aaliyah dismissed the claims, calling the rumors mess and urging people not to believe them. Despite her attempts to keep things private, speculation only grew. Rumors swirled that Aaliyah and Kelly had secretly tied the knot without her parents' consent. These whispers turned into headlines when Vibe magazine published a copy of their marriage certificate. The document revealed that the couple had wed on August 31, 1994 at the Sheraton Gateway Suites in Illinois. What made the revelation even more shocking was that Aaliyah was just 15 years old at the time, though the certificate falsely listed her age as 18. Meanwhile, Kelly was 27. The news sent shockwaves through the music industry and the public. Aaliyah's parents quickly stepped in, annulling the marriage in February 1995. Both Aaliyah and Kelly denied the marriage, claiming the certificate was a forgery. Yet the damage was done. The controversy cast a shadow over Aaliyah's early career and became a defining scandal in Kelly's life. A 1994 article in Sister to Sister magazine added more fuel to the fire. In the piece, Kelly described his connection with Aaliyah as magic, while the article also alluded to rumors of an inappropriate relationship. Jamie Foster Brown, the writer, recounted scenes of Aaliyah in the studio surrounded by adult men, suggesting she wasn't prepared for the pressures of her environment. At 15, you have all those hormones and no brains attached to them, Brown remarked, emphasizing Aaliyah's vulnerability. Years later, Demetrius Smith Sr., Kelly's former tour manager, revealed even more disturbing details. In his 2011 book, The Man Behind the Man, Looking from the Inside Out, Smith confessed that Kelly married Aaliyah after she told him she was pregnant. He admitted to helping forge documents to make her appear 18, expressing regret for his role in the situation. By the time Aaliyah was older, she was determined to distance herself from the scandal. In a 1997 lawsuit, she admitted to lying about her age to obtain a marriage license and sought to have all records of the union expunged. She reiterated that, under Illinois law, she couldn't legally marry without her parents' consent. In interviews, Aaliyah became guarded whenever Kelly's name came up. She gave a firm no when asked if she was still in contact with him and avoided answering questions about their past.
What is the deal with you and R. Kelly? Are you all married or not? No, I'm not married. Robert's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. He's a great producer, great artist who I do admire, and there's nothing there at all.
Christopher John Farley of Vibe magazine noted that Aaliyah often changed the subject when the topic of her marriage to Kelly arose. Even in private, Aaliyah avoided discussing the matter. Damon Dash, her boyfriend later in life, shared in a 2019 interview that she refused to talk about Kelly. All she would say was that Kelly was a bad man. Dash, who appeared in the documentary Surviving R. Kelly, Part 2, admitted he couldn't even watch the first installment due to how closely it paralleled Aaliyah's experience. The 2019 documentary Surviving R. Kelly brought Aaliyah's story back into the spotlight. Former backup dancer Javante Cunningham claimed to have witnessed Kelly engaging in inappropriate acts with Aaliyah on his tour bus. The series painted a grim picture of Kelly's behavior and the toxic power dynamics that marked his relationships. As more survivors came forward, legal consequences finally caught up with Kelly. In 2019, he was indicted on multiple charges, including SA, child exploitation, and racketeering. During his trial in 2021, Aaliyah's illegal marriage to Kelly became a focal point, underscoring the exploitation she faced at a young age. By September of that year, Kelly was convicted on 9 federal charges, including racketeering and child exploitation. In 2022, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. While Kelly's crimes were exposed, other names in the industry also came under scrutiny. Damon Dash, co-founder of Rockefeller Records and Aaliyah's partner before her tragic death, has openly criticized his former business partner, Jay-Z, for working with Kelly. During an interview on the That's Effed Up podcast, Dash expressed frustration over Jay-Z's decision to collaborate with Kelly despite the allegations. Reflecting on Kelly's conviction, Dash said, "I think he's where he belongs," hinting that he had firsthand knowledge of how Kelly hurt Aaliyah.
Yeah, I think he's where he belongs. I mean, I know Aaliyah, so I know what he did. I can't be objective.
When asked if he ever confronted R. Kelly about how he treated Aaliyah, Damon Dash shared that Aaliyah herself had begged him to leave it alone completely. Even when they appeared in the same music video, she made sure there would be no confrontations or shared scenes with R. Kelly. But let's get into the tea. Damon was seriously uncomfortable when Jay-Z decided to collaborate with R. Kelly on the Best of Both Worlds. Imagine knowing the truth about R. Kelly and still moving forward with a whole album. Damon didn't want any part of it, saying, "I'm not there as an executive producer, just don't put my name on that. I don't want no money from that. If it is, put it towards the Aaliyah Foundation." Now, what most people might be unaware of was that Jay-Z and R. Kelly both had a liking to Aaliyah, and this probably caused some tension between them, particularly during the Best of Both Worlds tour. For context, the duo had once joined forces during the early to mid-2000s for 2 albums, The Best of Both Worlds in 2002 and the 2004 follow-up Unfinished Business. Their partnership, despite promising beginnings, turned sour during a co-headlining tour that quickly descended into chaos. You see, R. Kelly found himself feeling threatened by certain individuals in the crowd. Having already received threats prior to the performance, his anxiety heightened as he observed suspicious behavior among some attendees. The atmosphere grew tense, and R. Kelly's concern for his safety became a pressing issue. Despite his attempts to alert the security personnel, his concerns were unfortunately dismissed with a sense of unease and a lack of support. He took a moment to address the audience, expressing his apologies for having to abruptly depart the stage before making his exit. As if that wasn't enough, he was pepper sprayed by Tyron Ty Smith, a close friend of Jay-Z, on his way back to the stage. This incident marked the beginning of the end for their tumultuous relationship. Meanwhile, the disappointment and frustration were palpable, both for R. Kelly and his fans who were eagerly anticipating the performance. The incident is particularly shocking due to R. Kelly's belief that Jay-Z played a role in the threats against him. He perceived Jay-Z's actions as an attempt to harm him during the tour, although the exact motivations remain unclear. This unexpected turn of events caused a rift between the two artists, with Jay-Z reportedly expressing anger over R. Kelly's sudden departure. In the aftermath of the tour's collapse, legal battles ensued. R. Kelly filed a staggering $75 million lawsuit against his former tourmate, accusing him of breach of contract. This lawsuit not only reflected their deteriorating professional ties, but also hinted at the underlying tensions between the two artists. Meanwhile, Damon spilled that he was also interested in Aaliyah at one point. According to him, Aaliyah wasn't just some casual fling. She was a queen. He described how people in their circle were constantly pursuing her, saying, "Everybody was getting at Aaliyah, bro. The big deal was, who could get with her?" Apparently, Jay-Z got salty when he realized Damon was making progress. Damon shared how things got a little competitive. I remember coming downstairs and Jay-Z had this. His friends were teasing him and making jokes. In the end, Aaliyah and Dame Dash started dating in 2000 after meeting through mutual friends. They didn't rush into anything. It just happened naturally over time. Aaliyah was at the peak of her career, making music and starring in movies, while Dame was busy building Rockefeller Records. Even with their crazy schedules, they always made time for each other.
It's almost amazing to me that I'm the guy that was with Aaliyah.
Do you think you would have married her one day?
Yeah.
Dame has talked about how easy it was to connect with Aaliyah. She was kind, real, and just had this calm energy that made people want to be around her. Their relationship wasn't just casual either. They were serious. Dame even said they had talked about marriage and planning a future together, but their time was cut short in 2001 when Aaliyah tragically died in a plane crash. Dame has opened up about how losing her changed him. He said that the bond they had was something rare, and it's clear she left a lasting impact on his life. Now here's where it gets deeper. Some people believe Jay-Z's obsession with Aaliyah went far beyond casual interest. It's been rumored that her untimely death was connected to the Illuminati, and Jay-Z might have played a role. You see, Aaliyah was the queen of R&B in her prime, and that kind of influence didn't go unnoticed. Allegedly, the Illuminati tried to recruit her, but she wasn't having it. Refusing the Illuminati isn't just a no, it's a problem. Her rejection may have upset some powerful people, including Jay-Z, who was allegedly under their thumb.
So we were both going hard, and we ended up in the same house, 4th of July. So we were, for some reason, this day.
Wait a minute, you, Jay, and Aaliyah ended up in the same house.
Yeah.
What makes this theory even more suspicious? Around the same time, Jay-Z met Beyoncé, who some claim was chosen by the Illuminati to replace Aaliyah. Beyoncé was seen as the perfect puppet to carry on the legacy that Aaliyah refused to fulfill. In a haunting Paris interview weeks before her death, Aaliyah shared a chilling dream. "It's dark in my favorite dream. Someone is after me. Don't know why. I got fear. Then suddenly I lift off. I fly away. Far away. No one can reach me. No one can touch me. It's a wonderful feeling." Fans have speculated that the someone after her could have been Jay-Z or the Illuminati, and the sudden lift-off? Many believe it was a premonition of her death. If you think that's a stretch, consider this. Beyoncé is now living the life Aaliyah always dreamed of. In the same Paris interview, Aaliyah mentioned her love for Egyptian history and how she dreamed of playing Cleopatra in a movie. Fast forward, and who ends up playing a Cleopatra-inspired role in Dreamgirls? You guessed it, Beyoncé.
Everybody say yeah.
Aaliyah also shared plans to design clothes and accessories with a friend, another dream Beyoncé conveniently fulfilled. Coincidence? Maybe. But when you connect the dots, it looks like Aaliyah's tragic end cleared the way for Beyoncé's rise to superstardom. Speaking of her death, the details surrounding it are shady. Aaliyah was terrified of flying, yet somehow she boarded an overloaded plane in the Bahamas after filming her music video for Rock the Boat. According to a witness, 13-year-old Kingsley Russell, Aaliyah initially refused to get on the plane, citing concerns about the weight. Russell claims she even went back to sleep in the taxi while her team argued at the airport. But things took a sinister turn when someone handed her a sleeping pill. She fell into a deep sleep and, according to Russell, was carried onto the plane without her knowledge. Moments after takeoff, the plane crashed, ending everyone on board. Aaliyah's body was found strapped to her seat, with an autopsy revealing she died from head trauma and burns.
The plane crash. The rising star in the world of music and film. Reaction today after Aaliyah and 8 others were when their plane went down.
Now here's the kicker. Why was a nervous flyer like Aaliyah so insistent on leaving that day? She reportedly had a private jet booked for the next morning. Was there pressure from someone or something to make her leave immediately? Music journalist Kathy Iandoli's book, Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah, sheds light on the events leading up to her death. Russell told Iandoli that Aaliyah's reservations about the plane were clear, and it's unsettling how her concerns were ignored. Adding to the mystery, reports revealed the pilot had a fake license and was under the influence of alcohol and drugs. On top of that, the plane was over its weight limit. Everything about that flight screamed disaster waiting to happen. And yet, some believe the crash wasn't an accident at all. Aaliyah's growing knowledge of the Illuminati may have made her a target. Once she refused to play ball, her fate was sealed. Jay-Z didn't waste any time after her death. He He quickly released a remix of Aaliyah's song, I Miss You, in which he mentioned her love for the book Seat of the Soul. The book discusses opening your third eye, which some fans think ties back to Aaliyah's eerie dream about flying away. Coincidence or not, Aaliyah's tragic death marked a turning point in the music industry. Beyoncé's rise to superstardom came shortly after, leaving many to wonder if Aaliyah's demise paved the way. It's hard to ignore the eerie similarities between their lives. Both were R&B queens with budding acting careers. Even their names suggest something symbolic. Aaliyah means highest, most exalted one, while Beyoncé translates to one who is beyond others. In any case, Beyoncé had an emotional reaction to Aaliyah's passing, captured in an interview shortly after the tragic plane crash. On August 30th, 2001, Beyoncé described Aaliyah as an angel and reflected on the fragility of life. But fans believe there's more to this footage than meets the eye.
She was our age, and it's just scary because that could have been any one of us. And she was an angel, and I know that now she's with God.
It's haunting to hear her describe Aaliyah's death as scary, almost as if she knew more than she was letting on. But why are fans so furious? The answer lies in Beyoncé's rise to superstardom after Aaliyah's death and her connections to industry heavyweights like Jay-Z and Diddy.
Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know, but it never worked out for them. So that was like the big deal, like who could get with Aaliyah.
Dame Dash, Aaliyah's boyfriend at the time of her death, has openly blamed Hollywood's elite for her demise. And he's not alone. Jaguar Wright has also come forward with claims linking Aaliyah's death to Beyoncé's meteoric rise. Wright alleges that Beyoncé and Jay-Z's careers were carefully engineered, with Aaliyah being a necessary sacrifice.
But wait, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling?
Theories connecting Beyoncé and Jay-Z to Aaliyah's death have circulated for years. Some suggest that Aaliyah's unmatched talent posed a threat to Beyoncé, who was still emerging as a solo artist in the early 2000s. With Aaliyah out of the picture, Beyoncé could rise unchallenged to claim her throne as Queen Bey.
Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Jam on now, that record. From the Austin Powers was some of the worst ever.
These allegations might sound far-fetched, but they gain credibility when you consider Jay-Z's past relationships. Before marrying Beyoncé, Jay-Z was rumored to have pursued Aaliyah, creating tension between him and Dame Dash. Could jealousy and rivalry have played a role in the events leading up to Aaliyah's death?
Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know, but it never worked out for them. So that was like the big deal, like who could get with Aaliyah.
So, was Aaliyah's death a tragic accident or something more sinister? One thing's for sure, there are more questions than answers, and the shadow of her loss still looms over the industry. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.